Welcome to Sage Women, the podcast for midlife ladies navigating perimenopause, menopause, and healthy aging. I'm Melanie White, and each week I talk with experts and women sharing real stories, practical insights, and smart tips to thrive through this stage of life and beyond. Today's episode is about the difference between selfish and selfless and what sits in between. And the reason that I want to talk about this topic is because all of the women I coach in midlife are juggling so many things, and they're saying that it's selfish to take time out for themselves. And I was thinking how stigmatized those words are. My colleague Michelle Hassani often talks about how language is important, and I think she's right, because what comes to your mind when you hear the word selfish? And what comes to your mind when you hear the word selfless? They're two extremes, and I think neither of them are healthy. And I've actually got some definitions here that I've written down. Selfish is a person, an action, or a motive of those things lacking consideration for other people and concerned chiefly with one's own personal profit or pleasure. Does that sound like you? I don't think so. In fact, I know very few people who are actually selfish. What I see, though, is the opposite, which is selfless, which is defined as having or showing concern for other people with little or no concern for oneself. Someone who is selfless is unselfish and prioritizes the needs and interests of others over their own. And it sounds kind of really lovely, doesn't it, to be considered to be selfless? But there's a cost to that, actually. There is giving so much of yourself away and not having enough good boundaries in place to even meet your own basic needs. And if you think about burnout as a topic and what burnout is, it's really that you don't have the internal and external resources to be able to cope with the stresses and demands of life. And what I see as an executive wellness coach is that when women don't have enough of the basics in place to look after their own needs, they become snappy, they become tired, they become stressed, they don't sleep well, they get grumpy, they can't think clearly. If you overlay menopause symptoms, it's a lot going on and a lot to deal with. And I think we need to really think about the concept of putting others first and the cost of that. There's a really great quiz that I love, which is Gretchen Rubin's 4 Tendencies quiz. I encourage you to look that up and do the test because it talks about how we meet internal and external expectations, and there are 4 types of people. And one of those types, known as an obliger, puts other people's expectations ahead of their own internal expectations. So everything is for or with other people. So that type of person, if that's the tendency around how they manage habits and their own well-being, it's clear that they're not going to be able to invest enough time and energy into resourcing themselves with the skills and tools they need to feel good. And I'm not talking about going to the day spa and getting your toenails painted or anything like that. I'm talking about eating well, moving. A lot of the clients I see are stuck in a chair all day. They don't have time or make time for exercise because they are doing work on weekends to keep up, or they're doing things for their families, or volunteering or taking responsibilities for others. So they're not getting enough exercise. They're unable to come up with a calming sleep routine. They're maybe not eating well. And it's only when, unfortunately, a life crisis comes up or a health crisis that they start to pay attention and go, oh, somehow I've now got to fit me into my own life. And I'd like to see an end to that. But first up, I'd like to see an end to the use of the language selfish, particularly, but also selfless. I think neither of them are particularly helpful for the individual who, if they are well resourced, is going to be able to show up and be their best for themselves and others. So what is in the middle between selfish and selfless? I think it's self-love. I think it's self-compassion. And I think it's self-care. It's reminding yourself that you're a human, that you're doing the best you can, and that you're going to invest enough time and energy into your own basic needs so that you can be your best for yourself and for others. That's all I wanted to say today. It's a reflection on this year of the people I've met and spoken to, of the common challenges that we see in midlife. And it's not all about menopause symptoms, and it's not all about aging parents. It's where do I fit into my own life? And I'd really encourage you to look at that and think about the value of giving to others at your own expense, what that cost is, and how you can find a middle ground. I'd like to do some more episodes on this, but for now, I'm signing off for the year. I hope you've had a wonderful 2025. I hope you're thinking about what you'd like to achieve for yourself next year, 2026. I hope you're thinking about the aspirations you have for your own well-being. And I wish you a wonderful and safe festive season. Thanks for listening to our podcast. If you like this episode, please share it with others, subscribe, leave us a positive review. That would be really helpful. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, and see you next year.